Hey everybody, clearing. Who's here? Okay, so this is going to be a mirrored check-in. I'm actually going to pull a card to start this off. So what is the energy that the teams of counterparts are navigating at this time? We are getting surrender. Okay, so be receptive, stay present, listen to your heart, and you are infinite. So that really means, enjoy your life to the fullest. Understand what is happening, why your circumstances are what they are right now. Not in the future, not what they've been, but right now. Really have your wits about you. Listen to what your heart is saying. Don't overanalyze. Drop into your heart. And remember, you're not of material realm origin. There is something bigger going on. I'm going to get one for the feminines specifically here regarding that. See the big picture. So big picture thinking. Pleiades energy, visionary and inspired ideas. So your journey is bringing you a very visionary take on life. Because you are a visionary, you are somebody that has come up against the perceived limitations in love, in life, in what's possible in romantic relationships. And that itself has been fostering more information and, growth in your visionary purpose in this lifetime, you teachers, artists, healers out there. What can we see for the masculines? Perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. So what I'm hearing, masculines, is, sometimes opposites attract, but big picture thinking and zoom out with your perspective. That's also big picture thinking. You're more alike than you may know, masculines. You are cosmic. Your feminine is cosmic. There is this sense of seeing the big picture emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, that the two of you share in only the ways that you complement each other. Okay, so let's get into this reading. I'm going to do 2 cards for each of the typical counterpart check-in angles. One is going to be about the physical and the Starseed. They're both Starseed Oracles, actually, or Starseed Tarot. Sirian Starseed and the Starseed Oracle by Wizard Azanon on Etsy. I often get inquiries about what that deck is. So we're going to see the energetic motion of the connections, and we're going to do 2 decks for the feminines, where the feminines are at regarding their own perception of what we'll see here, where the feminines are at regarding their counterpart, their masculine. I shuffled and prayed in light languages before the reading, so I'm only shuffling once because I've already done that extensively prior to coming on. And the masculines, how the masculines are relating this journey to their feminine right now. So I'm getting the sovereignty of each person, and then how, from their perspective, how it relates to the journey. Okay, conscious mind about the connections. In the physical, there is a very sincere recognition that third parties are being released and that the individuals are choosing their highest path. They're coming up higher on this. They're leaving that lower vibrational developmental stage behind and going higher to new horizons, uncharted territory. This can also be things that have emotionally drained or spread us too thin or not contributed to ease and flow. The 8 of Cups comes right before the 9 of Cups, which is wish fulfillment and going towards our happiness and not holding back from what others would think. And so this is taking lives higher and going towards ultimately the 10 of Cups, which is that generational happiness and wealth and emotional stability, all of that stuff. What's happening in the energetic realms? sophistication, ingenuity, originality, and elegance. So yeah, this is walking to the beat of your own drum, taking your life higher, putting the polish on it. So each of the counterparts are really stepping into their uniqueness at this time. How are the feminines handling this in their own life? They're getting out of their abandonment wound. So instead of feeling like the odd one out or the black sheep of the family, whatever, this is the feminine coming into this. I just heard holy recognition that they have been cultivating this uniqueness that is not meant to bend to the will of others, but to be a light in the world, a unique, original, elegant expression. And so feminines, when you move beyond, needing external acceptance and really value the diamond you are, the unique diamond you are, flaws and all, I just heard, that's when you realize what this meaning of life really is. It's not meant to cause you to feel like you'll never understand what's going on or fit in. It's meant to really celebrate you're the only one of you, and you get to do it your way. How does this relate to the masculines? Destiny, the star path of destiny. This was destined. You were absolutely destined to meet your masculine for these purposes that show you how extraordinary you are. The mirror you have in your true aligned one is unlike any other connection you could ever have, because they show you this star quality of yourself. They are your biggest fan. They are the one that mirrors back to you the coolness of who you already are. Sometimes a false twin or somebody can feel like there's something we still have to obtain. With our true aligned one, it confirms your essence time and time again, deeper and deeper and deeper as you come into union. Bing, bing, bang. So feminines are understanding that. Masculines, that there is nothing that needs to be pretended here. The more the two of you become who you are meant to be, the more it just seems like home. And it's staggering how many layers of that gets revealed on this journey. What are the masculines experiencing here? They're experiencing separation. So I'm getting the masculines are walking away from third-party scenarios, and because they've realized these things haven't been good for them, that implies that there is a gap in your connection that they are feeling right now. They are understanding. It's like the tables have turned a little bit here, and there's a gap. They're feeling like they are out in the cold from where they could have been at this point had they chosen to streamline earlier, or had it been appropriate timing. Because I honestly don't think it's an egoic choice. If this is a true divine masculine, they were following guidance, and that can sometimes look like going down a divine detour or a rabbit hole with a karmic situation so that wisdom can be reaped. But that doesn't negate that when that aha moment strikes, that we kind of come to our wits about us and realize that we are far from where we could or would want to be, having gone in that grass is greener possibly direction. How does this relate to the feminines? Oh, best friends, you're the only one, feminines. So masculines, yeah, you're starting to see that your feminine is your ride or die, the one that is always there, the unsung hero. Feminines are the unsung hero, and there is nobody that's kept stride with them like you have, feminines. And I hear it all the time. I'm not going to be anyone's second. Yes, in karmic situations, that is a very valid statement. But in aligned scenarios, sometimes it needs to be seen what happens when push comes to shove like this. Unconditional love loves anyways. It loves fiercely regardless of reciprocation. So, okay, what can we see on the conscious mind for the counterparts? Oh, Umaji. This is the 1111 union card. So both are thinking, look at this castle. That's not like a little cottage. I'm not saying this is a literal translation. For some, you might be living in a castle when you come into union. Who knows? However, wow. I just was remembering a dream last night that I dreamt of a house that I was living in with my counterpart, and it was so fantastic. It was everything I've ever wanted, and it was beautiful. And we were both appreciating the various magical aspects of it. But yes, that is figurative, metaphorical, for the fact that this person is home, and it's the splendorous home. It's the 1,000 boxes checked. It's not 80% good enough. This is your aligned one. Like, let's give divine and this reality credit. You can go for gold. You can go big like this. You don't have to scrape and pretend that something is good enough and settle for it. These journeys are teaching us to be impeccable with our knowledge of self and the permission to receive and to feel deserving of love. When we are deserving of love, we now know there is no limitation. We can design anything that actually makes our hearts sing. And so this is where we can access this with our counterpart and continue to give ourselves permission to say, of course they're my perfect person. Of course the divine created this perfect person. Of course I manifested this by being in alignment. And we can start letting that confirm itself, a self-fulfilling prophecy in the highest, instead of the negative. We've got to switch that around, everybody. And harmonic oscillator, synchronization, rhythm, frequency. So yeah, masculines are seeing their feminine as their best friend. Like, feminines really have your back, masculines. And this harmonic resonance between the two, that's union. I mean, musically, artistically, culinary, like, no matter which way you look at harmony, it's when everything melds. There's an alchemical process, and we've got that when thinking of the other here. What can we see for how this is in the feminine's lives? Here's a magician card without having to force anything. So the feminines are realizing when they don't have to force anything, what is there? When they're not, being too busy or trying to manufacture things from happening, when they just let go of control, there are things in their life that feel just much more settled, and in the positive aspect, not settling for, but foundational, secure. How does this relate to the counterpart? Two of Cups, only time will tell. So feminines are seeing what is really love coming more to the surface here when they're not trying to manufacture it. How about the masculines? So yeah, as the feminines let go, there's this harmonic resonance that's coming to the forefront about the love here. So that may be seeing things in a different light regarding the counterpart, regarding histories here, regarding I'm hearing specifically the counterpart's shortcomings or insecurities. The feminines are having compassion on that. Instead of thinking it's about the feminines, they're starting to see where the masculines have had to grow into this love. What are the masculines experiencing in their own life? The Hierophant, they're becoming more spiritual. They're getting more keys, aha moments. They're seeing more cause and effect wisdom, those divine detours they had to go down, but also this connection and the affinity here, the resonance, the effortlessness in certain ways. It's hard work by worldly standards. It's a stretch of the imagination to think these connections could align, but yet in the core of them, they make perfect sense when we stop fighting them. When we put down the resistance, they do just flow. How does this hit with the feminine coming out of hermit mode? So we've got the magician, the Hierophant, the hermit. And this is like a crossover energy. As the feminines are letting go, the masculines are coming out of hermit mode. It's an entanglement, and this is how it seems to work. On the heart space, what can we see? Communication, heartfelt, heart-centered, thoughtful communication. And Alpha Aryan Stargate, artistry, expression, community, celebration. So there's a bringing together of community. So I'm hearing party invitations, events. There's a possible something brewing in the energy where invitations are a key word. So functions, it could be one of the counterparts are planning something, or community members. Take that how it resonates. But there does seem to feel like an inclusive energy here where the two will be part of some kind of an event, celebration. I'm hearing that it's going to be bringing community together. How are the feminines? Yeah, there's just this energy of no longer wanting the two to be separate. Feminines are in open curiosity about everything right now. It's like beginner's eyes in their life in general. They're looking at who their community really is and what to be grateful for. What can we see for how that affects the masculine? We've got the life partner card, the wifey card. This is also living situation and home. This can be the physical mother energy, motherhood for the feminines, parenthood if physical motherhood isn't possible in your scenario. So feminines are curious about what will happen with living situation going forward. They're feeling like eventually there will be more sharing of that domain in life, that there is a merging of public association with the counterpart, and the feminines are wondering how that's going to go forward regarding more living situation alignment. So the feminines might be starting to have daydreams or curiosities about how it will roll out, that the two will have more shared time together, possibly living together in the future. I heard near future, please. What about the masculines? Queen of Cups. So this is the psychic, intuitive, unconditional love. We have two queens here. So I'm getting that this is an aspect that is sort of collaborated between the masculines and feminines, that there is a design phase of what this is going to look like and how it's going to work best for all involved. There is a very accommodating energy here. So the feminines are warming up to the idea of living together, and the masculines are really paying attention to the feminines' emotional well-being and not wanting to rock the boat or cause premature disruptions in that. So it's a similar energy, but they're experienced differently right now. How is the masculine? Yeah, unconditional love. So the masculines are very much observing you. I tried to get what they're up to, and all eyes are on you right now, divine feminines, for what your intuition. It's like they've finally really acknowledged your psychic intuitive aspects and their own psychic intuitive aspects, and now it's like they're very much watching for your cues on timing. And it's like the masculines are watching the feminines leading the connection emotionally and watching for readiness, watching for receptivity. And so while you might think your masculine leads feminines or that they need to make these decisions, they only do that when it's harmonious and when they see the cues of receptivity in you. This is the unconditional love that they're really learning compassionately to see you for your authenticity, your truth, even when you're not expressing that. Because as we see here, it's not necessarily communication, but the feminines are starting to open up to this safety. It's like unfolding into a new cycle of connection here. And the masculines are very much, they have kid gloves, I just heard, watching and holding safe container for feminines to genuinely open up to the idea of merging lives here. What can we see in the heart space for each other? Divine timing. Didn't we get that card a while back? What was that? The spine of fire, the chakra one. This was 7 times on the crown chakra. So in the heart space, our direct channeled course of action is there. Like neither of the counterparts want to deviate from what the divine plan is. Duality, contrast, trust, and balance. So this is where we find trust that is otherworldly, but more real than the insecurities of the material realm. This is where it's coming into balance, and where both counterparts are finally looking for divine timing without making an issue out of what's happening on the counterpart side of the energy. So in the past, there was a lot of temptation to say that when plans didn't unfold or when life circumstances arose, that it was because the counterpart probably didn't love the other one. Masculines suffered from that too, feminines. And so this is, both saying, let God's will be done. Let divine plan win the day. And when we stop resisting, when we stop trying to effort and force and manufacture what is that, when we haven't earned it, unearned, I'll just say unearned, it wasn't quite the right word I was getting, but unearned success, we always reap karma. And so both have let go of needing it to be something sooner than it is, and just really subscribing to divine timing on the heart space regarding the connection, regarding about each other. And that is actually fostering the most trust, because that is all eyes on divine, and then getting the instruction. You cannot be blamed, or that you will be blameless in that motion, because you're not acting from ego anymore. And so you're not in short-term gratification or lust or misstepping. When your eyes are focused on that connection to source and that heartfelt guidance on the heart space, you can do no wrong for your own decisions and in these love connections. How are the feminines experiencing that? They're having epiphanies in the stall. The hanged one is when we have a pause, when it feels outside of our control. The hermit is when we do it intentionally, but the feminines here have this unintentional pause. But the epiphanies, the eyes being lit up here, are talking about seeing this divine timing and finally getting it, feminines, that it's not been your masculine lording your worthiness over you. It's literally been this journey of mastery. How does this relate to the masculines? It's caused you to do the inner work that releases your masculine from being the bad guy. Take gender how it resonates. What can we see for the masculines? There's the high priestess now. So they are including, the masculines are really tapping into their subtle intuition and going to divine timing. This is mercy, humility, compassion. And so, yeah, masculines are coming by it naturally, that they're not blaming you feminines anymore for not being that into them, because as silly as that may sound to you feminines, that's the message that has been sent, or possible interpretation. Really, it's been divine timing, that. But just as you have felt like your masculine may or may not have been interested in you at times, they've also had that insecurity or misread of the energy. This is where they're now beyond that and really looking at alignment or misalignment, not rejection or acceptance from you of all people. They know your heart is pure. How do they feel about the feminine? Yeah, it's sinking in that nobody else in their life, this is the Four of Swords after the Three of Swords, so nobody else in the masculine's lives is this beautiful as a heart. Everybody else is like playing games, eye for an eye, running amok, retaliating, at odds. Not you. Not when they really look at it. Yes, you've done things that they didn't prefer, but it wasn't with animosity. And so this is sinking in for the masculines, that you haven't been malicious and you have been sovereign. You've been independent, and it's never been deliberately against them. In fact, they were confused about how you could profess love and still do some of the things that they thought meant you didn't want them. They are now learning that it wasn't about you not wanting them, that you are a sovereign being, and that the things they didn't prefer were the things in them that they needed to see from an angle of love and release from their lives. The things that triggered them about you were the things that they needed to recognize and clean up in their own reality. Self-fulfilling prophecies. Many of the masculines stimulated a mirror in you feminines, and because they spoke to you and acted in certain ways, you reflected back that dysfunction or that short-sightedness, and the masculines had to come to the understanding, or are in the process right now, of seeing they used to think it was a contradiction that you could love them and behave the way you did with them. And now they're seeing that even those times when you showed them something they didn't want to see, through your actions, words, whatever it may be, that there was so much love in it. What a profoundly deep, thank you masculines for seeing that, because the feminines have had to see that from their side about you. And so this truly is where we can get out of our own ways, and one of the biggest breakthroughs for progress here. Well done, everyone. That is amazing. What can we see for manifestations going forward? Okay, legal decisions, making sure we're not making choices going forward that are out of ego or stubbornness, that it's actually clear, neutral, that we're protecting the longevity of the connections by only making strides to merge lives that are neutral. And we're getting dimensional planes of perception, path change, paradigm shifts, adjustment. So instead of making decisions going forward in cliche ways, in ways that safeguard or overly inflate the safety, this is very practical, grounded, wise, and making a new way of life out of it. I'm really getting that there is a cue here for everybody to manifest things going forward that are truly founded rather than a stretch in any shape or form. So whether that's overcompensating or undercompensating, this is a total path change with coming into mastery and security to the degree that we only make decisions that truly protect the highest and best interest, that we're not doing it for social graces or for imagined reasons, that it's actually what is best for us. And if that is truly what is in alignment and works with what is best for our counterpart, that's when we have a next step that we can share. How are the feminines experiencing this way of life? It's a brand new way. So feminines are no longer overcompensating for things, going all in. I'm hearing dowry system. So feminines used to bring everything in from their side of the energy and it not be appreciated. It was a given that the feminine would contribute and not have ownership of that aspect anymore. How is this happening with the masculines? So we're getting the world in the inverse. So the feminines are trailblazing this in their life, where they've taken the reins of their own life. The World card is right before the Fool card, and in this case, it hasn't fully played out with the masculine alignment yet, but the feminines are starting to see that if they can do it on this side of the energy, on their own lives, that they can apply those understandings into this connection, and that they can bring success, the success that the feminines have begun establishing in their own right. They can also apply that same wisdom to these connections and maintain this forward motion that is balanced and feels good to them. How are the masculines navigating this paradigm shift of decision making? They don't necessarily know that this change has happened, because feminines, part of the masculines watching for your emotional readiness is connected with this message that we just got. When you are free, unburdened, with karma, when you've started making your decisions karma free as a way of life, your emotional feelers that the masculines are picking up on are either in flow or they're not. And so the masculines don't quite know consciously that it's because you've started this new way of navigating your life, but they can sense your readiness or not. They just don't know what that's about. What can we see? Yeah, Ace of Coins. So they know a new beginning is coming as well. The World, Ace of Coins, both in the inverse. So the masculines don't know how this is going to play out, but they want to make adjustments accordingly. And they do know that a brand new abundance can come in here. They just don't know what that will look like quite yet. But they do sense there's a shift. What are the actions the counterparts are making? Divine justice. Beautiful. So portals, possibilities, and options. So both, again, following that divine guidance on the heart space, the alignment, the surrender to divine will, both are anticipating divine justice, which means abundance coming in. Portals, possibilities, and options, unexpectedly. So believing in miracles. What are the feminines doing? Yeah, towers within. This is an internal tower, paradigm shift. Exactly. This is beautiful, because feminines, in your life, you're realizing nothing is set in stone. What was true yesterday can change immediately. It can be all different overnight. So feminines, you're really poised to receive when you are open to what is and what can be, when it's not a fearful thing anymore, when you're anticipating positively that it can get better, that divine justice and provision and abundance and possibilities can present in any given moment. You are at this new sense of freedom, emotional freedom. It's like no matter what life or love or anything throws at you, you're flowing with it. You're dancing on it. Oh my gosh, yes. And how does that relate to the masculine? Four of Wands. So no more pettiness in the relationship. As you come in, you've learned how to have the right attitude, feminines, so that when you come into union, nothing's going to get you down. You're going to be happy. You won't start a karmic wibble wobble in your relationship because you've had your alignment set. You've found your true potential with emotional equilibrium. That's you coming into your full potential. Anything else goes. When you've got that, feminines, you are entrusted with a love like this because you're not going to rock the boat within it through wild imaginings or drama or control issues. You're just going to be there for the best. You're going to be in that way of life. You've reached your full potential that way, so you can be exponential with your masculine. And this is the divine justice. This kind of harmony in relationships is what comes in when someone does the work. How are the masculines experiencing this? There's the Ace of Pentacles in the upright. So with this new way of making decisions, the masculines know that in time it's going to start, or they will see that in time these decisions are going to be grounded. They also know that some of the decisions that are coming towards them down the pipeline, they're starting to see they are good indeed. Like some of the decisions the masculines have been led to make intuitively through that high priest energy, intuitive guidance or gut instinct, they're starting to see how those decisions might just be exactly the best things for this connection going forward that they had no idea would be so. How does it relate to the feminines? Yeah, another card of a veil being in front of the masculine. So while we've been getting all these messages about the masculines working on things behind the scenes and working on surprises and unrolling the red carpet of sharing bits of information in a time capsule way going forward, they still don't know all the answers. And so the masculines are always looking for the divine timing in when to speak, when to share, when to decide certain things, and also just to go with the flow in their own life and not know how it will necessarily work out. So the masculines are heavily following higher guidance, and they are heavily invested in the love here, but they don't know how those two will sync up at any given moment. At this point, they're just here for it. They believe that at any given moment things can change, as they have done so many times before on this journey I just heard. What is the biggest challenge for the counterparts? Unconditional love, like always. Acceleration, stimulation, and excitation. So we've had to learn in sort of a slow motion. I'm seeing somebody beginning to jog and then full sprint. And that's what happens when we catch on to the proper alignment. Even when we're jogging, if we run with misaligned posture, we're going to get sore. It's not going to be as efficient. And so we've had to learn how to run with unconditional love, and then we can hit this acceleration. But that's the challenge. It's getting the proper skill. It's getting that foundation in place first so that it's a fluid motion. When we get going, it doesn't cause us hiccups. How are the feminines dealing with this? Still looking at divine masculine energy and becoming, and still working out the kinks in how they're not manifesting alignment yet. So there are still little aspects, feminines, that originate within your own psyche, your own interpretation, that aren't fully aligned with unconditional love yet. And so that's your homework, feminines, is continue anywhere you're feeling suffering or judgment to really bring it back to compassion and unconditional love consciously. Tell yourself different things about whatever is causing you angst, about your masculine specifically, and secrets coming to light. So it goes hand in hand. As you learn to just honor that your masculine is a sovereign soul having a unique experience, even though they are so connected to yours, that they are still an individual having that process, things will come to light about your masculine that will make so much sense and that will be deeper than you imagined when you had a surface level judgment against them. There is a safety and a depth. The secrets, not malicious secrets, but character, deep character affirmations and more consciousness than you gave your masculine credit for is going to come to light when you just continue to remove any lower vibrational stuff that you're seeding into the connection. When you take that out of it, feminines, even more, the majesty of your masculine is revealed in kind. Every time you release judgment against your masculine, they are shown to you in a higher light, in their true essence. And that's not just a misconception that now is corrected. Sometimes it is, but I'm getting this physical expression of them comes to the forefront. Okay, for the masculines. Transformation, the death. So there are necessary endings the masculines are having to put to an end in their life out of unconditional love. So that means carrying karmic partners. This is masculines where you have been guilted or feeling like your ego needs to be boosted by taking care of certain energies or people pleasing or hanging around with karmic partners or feeling tempted by karmic partners. Unconditional love believes that everybody that you're not choosing to align with going forward in certain ways even can do it on their own. Have that vote of confidence. Release yourself from having to be God's gift to all those people who are needy of you, masculines, and do them a favor, do yourself a favor, and release them so they can come into their own, so you can continue coming into your own. Take one for those karmic teams and ascend, masculines. Oof. How does that affect the feminine? Oh yeah, Six of Wands. This is where these connections can come into more public knowledge, because these secret affiliations that are of death energies that don't promote growth, that are stunting the masculine's growth, those are released so that growth can happen in these connections. So that's the challenge, unconditional love of self, other, and other scenarios. What is the solution? Oh my goodness, this is that wifey card, the life partner living together. This is blending homes. This is the Queen of Pentacles, or Queen of Crystals, Queen of Pentacles holds the King of Pentacles crystal skull in her hand. So feminines, you hold your masculines crystalline potential in your hands here. Masculines, you know who has caught your attention. The journey, yeah. Journey, exchange, transference. So this coming into choosing the feminines as life partners, it's on the table here, guys. Yeah, that is absolutely beautiful. It does look like the masculines are about to acknowledge that you're the only one that's really been on their team, feminines. How are the feminines experiencing this? Anxiety is dropping down, and this new beginning is like on the wind here. The feminines can feel it. How are the masculines dealing with this? Yes, they're letting go of the past and taking all those learning experiences to heart so that they can focus on the love here. There is a cleanup the masculines are doing to unhook from desiring things that are not healthy. They're still needing this higher instruction to show them the difference between eternal love and lust. They're still learning lust and love. They're still learning people pleasing versus their authentic heart space. But this journey is teaching them. You, divine feminine, are showing them. What is the direction in the near future? Indigo and Metatron star. Exaltation, brilliance, triumph, and victory again. So this is wild card innovation. These are the diamonds. Look at that faceted jewel. This is the potential coming in that's star-seeded, that's extraterrestrial, that's otherworldly, that's not found in the templates that are all around us in this life or in this material existence. This is channeled stuff coming in. How are the feminines going to roll this out? Empress. So there's something about your own abundance, your life work, your life path that is needed to be focused on right now to bring it into full fruition and public knowledge. So we get this connection with your masculine in the inverted. We just had that. We've had it 3 times. This is, and in the beginning, when we opened this reading, we were talking about community events. So there's a community event in the future for all the couples that are coming into alignment that heralds a new deepening of the connection with your counterpart. Right now, feminines, as you prepare for that publicly recognized association in some way, there's going to be, I'm hearing the two of you will be in the same room, and it will be an unspoken acknowledgement that you have overcome so much fear and disintegration in order to physically be in this scenario that's eventually going to happen. And so just keep working on your own abundance. Right now you have a grace period for something to establish in your own right, more feminines, so that you are in the flow of your wholeness coming into union. What are the masculines experiencing? Seven of Swords. So right now they're in deep contemplation about the way they've been living their lives. I'm hearing, is this all there is to life? Like they're really seeing their immaturity or their actions from the past being more of a fear-based navigation, an ego-based navigation, safeguarding. And now they're seeing there's got to be a better way to do it. How does this relate to the feminines? Six of Cups, they're wondering how they can streamline with you a little bit more, or break the ice, or hang out with you. They really are coming to terms with the way that they've handled, the way they've moved in the world has not been giving them the results that they've wanted. And they have demolished chances in the past with you. They have self-sabotaged. They have brought in energies that didn't need to be brought into the mix. They've done things, said things, they've regulated this, they've blocked, they've ghosted, they've called the shots, they've ended it, and now they're secretly seeing that those strategies were never needed with you, that they could have been so much further ahead if they weren't playing those games, if they weren't so much icing everything that was real love out. They would have been more in alignment. They're really feeling how they've done this to themselves, and how your connection feels a little ungrounded because of their contribution or lack thereof in certain ways. And they're starting to see that they could be more proactive in bringing this connection in. They're very timid because they're watching your receptivity, wanting that to do the work for them. But masculines here, you have more. You could convince your feminine, and it's not about convincing. The feminines surely do not want to convince or sell this to you, masculines, but they do want this. Your feminine does want this. And so you can have more confidence to lead this connection in an emotional way. It's almost like the feminines will be more and more receptive as you step into that leadership where you're able to lead this in a more emotional way, without just deferring to the feminine or hoping the feminine will do it, like in so many codependent things. Really interesting here. Let's get one last card to close out the reading. We are getting pleasure. Celebrate life. Engage in your passions. What you seek is seeking you. What did I just talk about? Masculines, your feminine does want this. Love with your whole being. So just completely let go of inhibitions, and really, what does your heart want to do at any given moment? Release control of others. So, you can only micromanage your own responses and take on things. Be your own beloved, so that when you get to interact with your masculine, your feminine person, that it's joy, that it's the icing on the cake, right? This is coming into wholeness, so that any shared time is just a marvelous, rare gift in the universe. Okay, many blessings. Bye for now.